Now, this is going to sting. And it's not because I'm trying to shock you. It's because I'm going to stop letting you hide behind intelligence, self-awareness, and your so-called potential. So listen to this like it's aimed directly at you, because it is. So let's drop the polite version. Let's drop all the soft talk. Your life isn't just a bit off. You're just disappointed in yourself. You've got used to disappointing yourself, not dramatically, not in a way that makes, even for a good story like some Hollywood blockbuster, but in a quiet, corrosive way that breaks you down bit by bit. The kind that shows up when you're alone at night, when you put your phone down and the thoughts start coming back, when there's nothing left to distract you. Because you don't hate your life. You hate the fact that you know that you're capable of so much more, and you keep on choosing the same soft exits every way, and you've made it a habit. So here's the slap in the face that you've been avoiding that will change your life. You're not stuck, you're just undisciplined, and you've got comfortable with it. And before you get defensive, listen to the next line slowly. You're disciplined when it suits you, at work, for other people, when there are consequences, when it's just you and your word. You negotiate and you delay and you let yourself off and you say, oh, I can have a day off today, I've earned it. That's not a motivation problem. That's an identity problem, and that's much worse but easier to fix, because you've built a life that lets you drift without consequences. That's why nothing ever changes, because your bills are paid, you've got a decent enough job, your relationships haven't completely collapsed yet, and your body isn't completely gone. So you keep on telling yourself that I'll sort it soon, that things aren't that bad, that I've got time. That story and every one of those stories is poison, because it keeps you just comfortable enough to never force yourself to make a decision and to actually make some kind of change. So let's say something brutally honest. If your life were truly unbearable, you'd make a change. And the reason you haven't isn't because the pain hasn't crossed. The reason you haven't is because the pain hasn't crossed your personal threshold yet, so you numb it out instead. You scroll, you drink, get on the sniff, snack, bet, distract yourself, overwork, overthink, and you call it unwinding. But what you're really doing is avoiding the true verdict. And here's the part that you probably don't want to hear. Nobody likes to hear this. But the truth will set you free. Every time you say you'll do something and then you don't, you train your nervous system to distrust you. Not emotionally, but psychologically and physiologically. Your body learns that this man talks and doesn't do shit. So when the pressure really hits, your system can't get rallied up for it, so it just collapses. That's why you feel anxious. That's why you feel overwhelmed. That's why you get that tight feeling in your chest. And your confidence just comes and goes. Not because life's too hard, but because you're unreliable to yourself and ultimately everybody else. So stop calling it burnout. Because burnout implies that you gave everything, but you didn't. You gave some effort, then you drifted, then you reset, then you repeated the cycle and wonder why nothing ever sticks and you never make any meaningful progress, and you're exhausted because you keep restarting from ground zero, not because you're working too hard. So let's be honest, you don't need another insight. You don't need another book, another podcast, another aha moment. You need to stop lying to yourself about what the problem is. Like I said, the truth will set you free, but the truth hurts, because the problem isn't that you don't know what to do. Your problem is that your life has got no structure that holds you accountable when you don't feel like it. So your mood just runs the show. And moods are terrible leaders, because some days you feel good, some days you don't feel good, sometimes somebody disrespects you. So here's the part that most men avoid, because it removes their excuses. Change isn't complicated. It's non-negotiable. That's it. The reason discipline feels hard to you is because you keep treating it like it's some kind of preference. I'll train if. I'll do some journaling and some mental work when. I'll sort my head out once life falls into place. But that's not discipline. That's hope. And hope doesn't compound consistently, but systems do. So let me be very clear. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You sink to the level of your daily defaults. And right now, your defaults are weak. And it's not even because you're weak. It's because you allow them to be. Let me say that again. It's not because you're weak. It's because you allow them to be. And that's why motivation has failed you and will continue to fail you every single time, because motivation's a sugar rush. Feels great, then it crashes. Then you're just back to negotiating with yourself all over again. So if your plan requires you to feel like it, then you don't have a plan. You've got a fantasy. So what about the men who actually change They just do something boring and do it consistently enough for it to compound. They remove the choice. They decide this happens every day, no discussion. Train the body, train the mind. It's minimal and it's non-negotiable. It's not extreme, not impressive, but it's consistent. So they build a system that runs even when they're flat, stressed, or uninspired. And then slowly, something terrifying happens. They start trusting themselves again. And here's the part that really splits men. Most men don't actually want this. They say they do, but deep down they really don't. We lie to ourselves so much because structure removes your favorite coping mechanism, which is excuses. Because once you've got a clear daily system, you can't blame timing, you can't blame your bad mood, you can't blame your missus's period, you can't blame circumstances. You either execute or you admit that you're choosing not to execute. And that level of honesty scares people because they know they're not giving everything they can. This is why you keep half committing. And half commitment keeps hope alive. Full commitment forces you to make a verdict. So if you fully commit and follow through, you know that you know exactly who you're capable of becoming. You've seen these glimpses of your potential. And if you don't act like the answer of who you could become, there's nowhere to hide. So you hover, you drift, you stay almost there. So let's talk about identity. You don't need to become disciplined. You need to stop being the man who negotiates with himself. That's the shift. Go from becoming or constantly becoming to being. Identity first, because men who are solid don't hype themselves up. They don't argue with themselves internally about whether they'll take action. They don't need pep talks. They execute because that's just who they are. So listen to this next part carefully, because this is one of the most important parts of the video. You're not broken, you're not behind, and you're definitely not incapable. Your life proves that. You're just undisciplined by design. Your life has been set up to let you get away with it. That's why nothing has been forced to make a change yet. So because nothing's been forced to change, you haven't made the change. So this is where daily systems matter. Not because they're sexy, but because they're ruthless. Let me say that again. They're not sexy, but they're ruthless because it removes decision fatigue, protects you from your emotions, and builds up evidence that you're a winner instead of self-taught that you're a loser. And over time, it rebuilds the one thing that you've lost, which is self-trust. This is the truth that I've reinforced with every one of the private clients that comes to work with me, to end self-sabotage with daily systems. And it's built for successful men who've just lost momentum. That's it. It's not motivation, not inspiration, but structure. So it's time to become unfuckwithable, not loud, not arrogant, but unshakable, truly unfuckwithable. So before you scroll on to the next video, ask yourself this. If nothing changes in the next 12 months, will you be happy with where you're at? Same job, same habits, same routine, same frustration, same disappointment, but a year older. So no more excuses. No more, I'll sort it out soon. Because the thought of that should bother you. Because I'm not here to try and convince you. I'm here to just remove the lie. You don't need a better life. You need a tighter one with less room for excuses. Clear standards, clear rules, clear daily actions, no drama, no reinvention, no magical transformation of the phoenix, just execution. So if this video has felt uncomfortably accurate, if part of you wants to argue, but part of you also kind of knows I'm right, that's recognition. So if you want the exact framework that I use with my private clients to help them rebuild their discipline, eliminate self-sabotage and build momentum, click the link in the description. The Become Unfuckwithable Blueprint's there for free. It's a system that doesn't care how you feel, and it'll move you forward and build momentum on good days or bad days. Or don't bother, but stop pretending that drifting through life is neutral, because it's a choice, and you've been making that choice every single day. So I'll see you in the next video, but don't bother clicking on the next video if you're not going to get the free download of the Become Unfuckwithable Blueprint. I'll see you in the next video. Let's go.